What is up, G Crew? I'm Chris G, bringing you guys with another video. Today's video we're going to be editing another photo. So this one was actually taken by my friend Edward of me. Him and I went out to the Elan Hotel. I think that was like a couple months ago or last month. I don't really know. It's hard to keep track of time. But anyway, let's start editing. So here's a picture of myself. It was at nighttime, so the lights were on, so I thought it was really good for bokeh. So those of you that don't know what that term means, it's just pretty much the blurriness in the background. The better the more blur, the better the bokeh, I guess. But sometimes too much blur could be bad. So sometimes if you have it too much, you'll lose certain sharpness within the subject that you're actually trying to take a picture of. So thankfully though, Edward did a really good job taking a picture of me. We kind of just decided how we wanted to do it, where we wanted to do it, and it's very hard for me to pose sometimes because I do like the same exact poses where I look that way or just look straight at the camera with a serious face because I tend to not smile. But it is what it is. If you guys want to see me smile in my next photo, just let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, let's get on with the photo. So it is pretty dark, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the lighting section and bring up the exposure a bit just to get more, I guess, clarity in the image. We're going to let down some of the contrast. Let's see what happens when we bring the highlights down. We're going to bring it down actually. Shadows can be brought up a tad bit. And we might come back to this and readjust. I don't know, I like to see all of the image first before I make final decisions on the lighting. So I'm just going to bring up the blacks as well. So you can already tell that you can see a lot more in the image. I feel like the before you can actually see like the moodiness in the image, but again, we're going to go back to that later. Right now we're just trying to see what's in the picture. So after doing that, I'm going to go to the color tool. And let's see what happens when we go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down. Yeah, I'm going to bring it down just to get the blues from the bottom left of the image. So I noticed that when you look at the bottom left and you lower the temperature, it gets more blue. And you still hold on to some of that warmer tones up top on the right with the lights in the background. So let's see what happens when you mess with the tint. I'm gonna just bring it up a tad bit, not too much. Usually with these kind of photos, you don't want to mess with it too much. So vibrance, I'm gonna bring it up a bit, and so is the saturation. Saturation, I always do very little, not a lot at all. So going to the color mix tool, I'm gonna go straight to the yellows and attack that. I'm gonna make those yellows all the way to the left on the hue and bring up the saturation on that, so I can make them a lot more orangey. So I'm going to go to the orange tool as well, and I'm going to bring that even more further, saturate it just that much. I feel like it doesn't affect my skin tone too much, so I think that's perfect. I'm also going to mess with the reds, bring down the hue as well. I'm going to saturate it a bit. I think it works very well with my skin tone. It doesn't make me too saturated. I do look kind of dark, and I am kind of dark, so I guess it works out. Let's see what happens with the luminance. Oh, you know what? I should go back to the orange and see what the luminance does. So I'm actually going to bring up the luminance as well because I think it looks good that way. So the yellow, let's see what happens with the luminance when I lower it. I'm actually going to lower it. So if you look at the lights, it adds more variation to the lights, right? So if I raise it up, all the little circles from the lights, they all look the same. But if I lower the luminance, it kind of separates some of them from the ones that are way far and the ones that are a little bit closer to me. So I think that adds a little bit of extra depth in the image. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to go to the greens. I'm always going to desaturate the greens no matter what. So the blues I'm going to bring up or down to the left on the hue, and I'm actually going to saturate it. So already you can kind of tell the, I guess, style I'm going for, which is just the teal and orange like always. Let's see what this does. It doesn't really do too much. The blues, you know what I can do is mess with the lightness. I can bring down or bring up the lightness. Alright, so pretty much it looks pretty good so far. Gonna go to the effects tool, mess with the texturing. So because this was shot at nighttime, I'm gonna lower the texture to, I guess, compensate for the noise. So it's kind of like a noise reduction kind of deal. So also with the clarity, I'm gonna bring it down as well, just to fill in the extra pixels to like blend them together better. With the vignette, I'm gonna add a little bit, very slight, very subtle adjustments with that one. I'm gonna go to the detail. I'm gonna go to the noise reduction. I'm gonna bring it to 10. I think already it kind of makes my skin a lot smoother, and it just makes the whole image look more silky, which looks good. Let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go to the selective tool, and I'm actually going to just paint myself really quick. Not gonna do anything crazy. Just gonna feather all the way up. And I'm gonna bring down this, feather down. I'm gonna unpaint what I was just painting, or unpaint the extra, I guess, surroundings around me. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the exposure and just bring myself up a tad bit on the exposure. The contrast, I'm gonna turn up all the way. Shadows, I'm gonna bring down just a tad bit, very slight. And I think that's pretty much it. With the blacks, I'm gonna lower the blacks a little bit, but that's it for that. So let's see what happens when I mess up the temperature. I'm also gonna turn down the temperature just to put more blue tones in my, I guess, on me. Let's see what happens when I mess up the tint. The tint, I'm gonna just not mess with that a lot because I'm not gonna mess with the tint a lot because I've noticed it messed with my skin. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Saturation, I guess I could bring it up a bit. That's about it though. So not too much going on here, guys. Maybe I can go back to the lighting and make some subtle adjustments, but I think overall it looks pretty good. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, thank you, Edward, for hanging out with me and taking some photos at the Alon Hotel. It was really cool, really dope, and it was a lot of fun. So if there's any photos that you guys want me to edit, just send them my way. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, text message, email, whatever you want, whatever you got, send it my way. Make sure that the raw photos, I'll accept JPEG, but you know, raw photos are preferred, just because I can do a lot more with them. But yeah, guys, without further ado, please comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.